The following episode of You Can Bet on That is dedicated to listener Julie, who rolled 8 points for us on a single hand of craps at Harrah's, Southern California. August 18th, 2016. From San Diego, California, this is episode 106 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting in front of me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
And Mike, we are sitting in the exact spots that we sat for our very first episode.
That's right.
We're at your house.
Right.
Because my house is just way too hot.
The lack of air conditioning.
The lack of air conditioning where we normally record. So a special trip over here. It's nice and cool here.
Yeah, it's very cool.
We're actually in the city of San Diego podcasting now.
Are you going to change that from...
Yeah, the entry. Didn't you heard me record the entry right there.
I wasn't paying attention, honestly.
Yeah, I said San Diego. Anyway, thanks for having us over at your house.
All right, no problem.
You know, we tell a lot of stories on the show, and we enjoy telling stories about big wins that we've had or, good experiences.
Yeah, we have a good night.
And, we don't tell too many bad stories, mainly because the good stories are way more interesting.
Right.
A
bad story, it happens.
There's not much to say.
No.
But we want to emphasize, and I know we talked on the last episode how we had that really huge roll with all those eights and everything.
Right,
right. But that's not always the way it happened, because the week after that, we went out and we got slaughtered.
Yeah, it was not good.
It was brutal. And, here we can tell this story about kind of how it would go. This is typically how it would go. You were making come bets.
Right.
And I was just placing the 6 and 8. So we both have a pass line bet, and the shooter would come out on like a 4.
Right.
Right? I would place the 6 and 8, and you would do come bets. And the next rolls would be 5, 9,
right,
7 out.
7 out.
Right.
Exactly.
So you lose all your bets, I lose all my bets.
Right. And it was just like every time it seemed like.
It seemed like that happened a lot. So, again, we seem to be starting the shows with bad beats, so we just want to let you know, we don't tell the stories about when we lose just because they're not very interesting, but they happen plenty.
Right. Yeah, because we're not those kind of people that always tell you they win.
Right, yeah. We're never claiming, oh boy, another big win from it. That's right.
Yeah, because if you ask, I'll tell you exactly what happened, and, there's more losses than there are wins, obviously, because it's gambling, right?
Yeah, and we're not advantaged players. We're recreational gamblers,
right. And so we get some losses, but fortunately, we get enough wins that keeps us in the game.
Yeah.
So
you will. That's true. You'll never hear either one of us say, "Oh yeah, I usually win." Even that, I won't even say, "Well, usually win." Yeah,
because we usually don't win.
That's right.
Just when we do win, sometimes we win enough to offset.
It's very
most
big,
of our
and sometimes it's fun to talk about. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you've heard this story, Mike, and some of the listeners may have already heard it because it came out a little while ago. But there was this guy, 52-year-old Kerry Johnson, was playing blackjack at the Mardi Gras Casino in Nitro, West Virginia, a small town of Nitro, West Virginia.
Yeah, I never even heard of that.
Things weren't going too well for him at the table, so he asked them to hold his seat for him while he went to get more money. Now, it's always rough when you run out of money at the casino, but you generally have some options. You can go to the ATM, or if you're there with a buddy, you can ask for, can I borrow some money or something like that.
If you live close enough, you can go home if you've got more money at home.
Right. Or worst case, you could get a cash advance on a credit card. That's something we recommend trying to avoid, only because, those fees can be pretty stiff.
Or a check. A lot of casinos will take check.
Write a check. Or you could go to the bank and get some money. And
if it's during the day. We've actually done that. Where we've gone to the bank.
Well, that's what Kerry did. He went to the nearby City National Bank, robbed the place.
Okay, we haven't done that.
No, I don't think so. Headed back to the casino where he continued to play. So that was the way that he got his blackjack money. So, and he was
good for him. He's industrious.
He was caught. They recognized the car that he was driving and the shirt that he had on, and some of the stolen money ended up at the blackjack table. He's denying it, of course. But,
of course.
Thought it was such a good story.
Well, he's innocent.
He
that's probably is innocent.
Innocent until proven guilty. That's our society. I'm not a lawyer, but I think that's true. Anyway, it seemed like a great story. Everybody was kind of on social media talking about that. It's just, it's not that he's going to rob the casino. It's like, I've got to keep gambling. I'm going to go rob a bank so I can come back and gamble and hopefully win some money.
I hope the bills that he brought were all new. Because then, how they always say, oh, what'd you do? Just print these? No, I robbed a bank.
Right.
Yeah. Right? He doesn't laugh. No, I robbed the bank. No, really, I robbed the bank.
Right. I'm offended that you're asking me
right.
if I printed the money. No, I robbed a bank.
I would never commit forgery.
That's right. Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, when you're going to buy something through Amazon, go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link at the top of the page. That way, when you make a purchase, we get a little kickback that helps cover the costs of hosting the show, and it doesn't cost you a thing. You'll pay the same price just like normal. So we got some listener questions, Mike.
Good.
Listener Robert sent us a bunch of questions. We always appreciate when a listener does that because then we don't have to come up with content for the show.
Right. Makes my life easier.
It's way easier. So Robert sent us some questions. Let's get right to them. Number one, you mentioned seeing how you were rated the next day. How do you do that? So, yeah, sometimes
I should answer that.
Okay.
I wait for Mark to text me and tell me how I was rated.
That's right. Sometimes we'll say, oh, last night we got a bad rating or we got a good rating. It's pretty simple what we do. Basically, we go to Harrah's Southern California mostly, right? So It's part of Caesar's Total Rewards, and we just access our accounts from the Total Rewards website. And they are very good at updating tier credits. If you play on a Friday night, Saturday morning, your account will be updated online.
Yeah, I don't know what time that kicks in.
I don't
either.
It's
very quick.
Yeah, I've never gotten up Saturday morning and it's like, oh, they haven't done it yet. It's always right there. So that's as simple as it is. I just check our score before we play, and then compare it to our score after we play, and then that's how we know. Another way you could do it, you could actually go to the casino and do the same thing. Go up to the Players Club and say, hey, how many points do I have right now? Then go and play. And then if it's a table game, you might have to wait an hour or so. Sometimes that's not immediate. There can be a delay. But if you're playing slots or video poker,
that is immediate.
Yeah, just go up and afterwards and say, hey, what are my points? I would not necessarily trust the values that you see on the machines when you're playing them.
Right, because we've been told before that some of the machines don't update as frequently as other machines.
Correct.
So they're linked into the computer somehow, but they don't get all the info.
Yeah, we've gone on, and it's not even necessarily like a matter of time lag. We've gone on a Friday when maybe we haven't played for a couple of weeks, and the figures on the machine are still wrong. They still don't jibe with what you'll get if you actually go up to the Players Club and ask.
Yeah, well, they're usually less, so that's how we know.
Yeah, it never tells you got more than you do. Right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So you should start a business or an app or something where you just automatically update people on their tier status.
Oh, I just ask for all their passwords, and then I text them. Okay, I'll figure it out for you. Total Rewards does have an app too for smartphones. So I mean, that's another way you can look at it. Real quickly, just look at your score beforehand and look at it.
Now, what about for like M Life and other...
we don't go there often enough, so I suspect they have something similar, but I honestly don't know.
Yeah,
so
people who
use M Life, let us know. But yeah,
now,
I think
the thing that might be difficult is when you're playing at a smaller casino.
Sure.
Who has some kind of reward program, but it's just a solo casino.
Right, a one-off.
Like one of these local ones here. Yeah. I bet unless you actually go to the desk.
Yeah, that's always going to be the best way. Yeah. All right, another question. I have never asked for a comp meal at a table. Specifically, what do you say? You just have to be friendly with the pit boss.
Right.
First of all, don't just go up to a table, start playing, and then 5 minutes later just ask for a comp.
No, you should wait until you
sit there and play, maybe for an hour, at least an hour, I would say.
Right.
And just say,
yeah, because you're not going to have earned enough points anyway in a short time.
And just call the guy over and say, hey, do you think I could get a meal? Do you think I could get a buffet?
Right.
Just ask that way. Just ask the pit boss.
Oh, let's say you're playing for a half hour. You can just ask the boxman if they have one, or whoever's in the pit. Just say, hey, how many credits have I earned? I was thinking about getting a meal.
Yeah, right.
And they'll tell you, if you qualify for anything or not.
Some places might just write you a voucher right there. Some places they might insist that you actually use the credits that you've earned. So then maybe you have to, go through some process where you actually use those credits. Yeah. So it really depends. But yeah,
I think you'll get a comped free one if you're gambling enough.
Yeah, I think so too.
But if you're not, let's say you're just, playing $5 blackjack.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to tell you to use your points.
I'll tell you, Mike, it really depends. I remember years ago, Harrah's Las Vegas, I was there with my mom and my sister. And I was the only one gambling. They were just watching me. Uh-huh. And I was betting $5. Maybe I had 2 or 3 come bets, but $5 base bets.
Right.
And we were just, chatting up the pit and the crew and everybody, and we were all getting along. And then I said, hey, how about a meal for the three of us? And the guy said, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so he just wrote us a comp right there.
The key is that you were being friendly.
Exactly, yeah.
And if you're friendly, you're more apt to get something.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, if you haven't said a word to anybody the whole time you're there, they're probably going to be a little hardcore. Now, that might vary, too, on the casino.
Oh, yes.
Some could have some policy where it's strict. You can't give away anything.
Yep.
We use our points at Harris, and we don't have to. Because in the past, they've always, do you want to eat, Mike? And they'll write you something, So,
well, you're 7 stars. You get like 2 free buffets a day, right?
And so,
so
I'm not going to ask for anything.
Yeah. But, just ask the pit. All right, another question. When you have a craps session, do you use the same strategy for the whole session, or do you mix it up? Like maybe you'll do come bets for a while, then switch to place bets, or switch to the don't if the table is cold. I stick pretty solid. I'll answer this first because I'm pretty disciplined. If I go in and I think, I'm going to do pass line and scoop come bets tonight, I do that the whole night. If I'm
until I leave the table, and then you jump to the don't.
Sometimes I will. That is true, but it's not because of the way things are going.
No,
it's just that Mike's not here, going to the don't.
Yeah,
that's also something that I've decided ahead of time, right? That's
I don't know why you decided that. But.
That's part of my plan. So how do you play?
Oh, I mix it up. I mean, I'll switch. But I do tend to stay. Like lately, I've been making 2 come bets, and I've just been sticking with that. Mm-hmm. Although I did that Friday night and didn't go so well. And then Saturday, I had just a brief time to play, and I did make place bets.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I just decided, I'm only going to be here for a half hour. I'm just going to make some place bets.
Yeah.
So, but I stuck with that the whole time. I didn't switch. I don't like to switch.
No, I don't either. The only time I may do things differently is if it's a really hot roll.
Right.
And then it's like, okay, and I jump on it. Now I've got everything placed and all the numbers.
More likely if you're doing come bets and the roll gets really hot, then I'll place them all.
Yeah, and just you switch. You let your come bets come down, then you switch. Yeah, but that's only on a super hot roll. My favorite position at the table is in the corner by the dealer. It's easy for me to communicate my place bets to the dealer, and usually I have an open view of the casino for people watching. Do you have a favorite position? Robert, that's my favorite position too. I like being right next to that dealer so that I can just hand him my bets. I can't hand them to him, but just drop them right there and he can hear me. And if I am going to bet the don't, then I'm real close to the don't come there. So that's my favorite spot.
And mine is next to the stick.
You're right next to the stick. Which
right
side?
Next to the
Left
stick.
or right? Does it matter?
Well, it doesn't really matter, but I seem to prefer the right for some reason.
Okay.
Right of the stick person. And really for me, it's the same thing. It's just that if I'm going to make prop bets, it's easy to just drop them right there.
Right, and which you do. You're always making hard ways. You make a lot of prop bets on the come out roll.
Yeah,
so,
and if I'm hopping something because we're on a big roll, that's the greatest place to be.
Oh, of course. Yeah, you're not tossing dice halfway across the table.
Tossing your chips halfway across the table and things get muddled. And I make so many of them. It is easier for me to be there.
Yeah.
Now, I do like to roll, though, from straight down the middle.
The very end. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know why. I just like a longer roll. Yeah. It's kind of a short roll when you're next to the stick, which I've done a million times.
Sure, of course.
But,
Yeah. All right, question 5. I've heard strategies where you should buy in for a session based on 10 times your bets. For example, at a $10 table, if you bet the pass line, single odds, and place the 6 and 8, that's a total of $44. So you'd buy in for $440. Do you do anything like that? I don't think we consciously think about it.
No.
I guess that's not a bad suggestion.
No, that's a good suggestion.
Yeah, 10 times.
You do something similar to that, and you'll buy in for $500.
Usually I buy in for $300 or $500. If it's a $5 table, I'll buy in for $300. If it's more than that, I'll buy in for $500.
You buy in for $500.
Yeah.
And, I usually base my buy-in by what I've got for the night.
Yeah, that's kind of more what I do too. Yeah, what's in my wallet.
Yeah, if you brought like $600, let's say, you'd probably buy in for $300 and keep $300 on the side in case you had to rebuy.
Yeah.
And me the same way. If I have $2,000, I'll buy in for $1,000 and keep $1,000.
Yeah.
That probably dictates for us more. Although I like his system.
Yeah, I think it's good advice.
That's not a bad one.
His next question is kind of along those same lines. Considering what might be a session amount as above, do you have any recommendations about how much your overall bankroll should be? And we've talked about this before. I think people underestimate how much bankroll they need for the levels that they're going to be playing at. Now, we're talking about craps here, which is a negative EV game, so eventually you're going to lose it all.
Right.
But I'm thinking kind of in his example, I'm thinking maybe 10 10 times that 10 times. So maybe you need about $4,000 for your bankroll. It depends on how long you're going to play. Are you talking about like a weekend at Vegas? Or are you talking about your whole year?
There's too many factors there.
Well, I agree.
I mean, if you're a whole weekend in Vegas, and let's say you've decided ahead of time you've got $3,000, and you're going to be there 3 nights. Well, $1,000 each night. And then, when it's gone,
sure.
it's
When
gone.
it's gone,
so that's
you're
how
done.
you
Yeah,
decide.
that's another way to do it too.
For me, it'd be like, well, how much do I want to lose in a weekend?
Right.
I mean, what's my max I'm going to lose, and then I'll divide it up by that.
Yeah. We've mentioned on the show before, we will do so again, but people underestimate how much they need in bankroll. If you think you've got an idea of how much bankroll you need, at least double it.
Yeah, well, if you've played long enough, there's some big droughts in there.
There can be some big swings,
There can be
and you
some
can
big
have a
swings.
real downer. Yeah.
And seriously, though, if you take enough bankroll and you never get to it, let's say you took $3,000 and your first night you killed it, and you're up $4,000. You never touch those other $2,000. You put your $3,000 away. Well, good. But if it went really bad that first night, it'd be nice to have some more if you want to play.
Yes, right. Right, yeah. All right, next question. You mentioned that you keep track of your betting. Well, I do. I don't think you do.
No, I don't.
Do you use any of the smartphone apps? No, I don't use anything. I basically write it down in this stupid-looking, schoolboy.
Well, you put it in your little recorder first.
Oh, well, yeah.
At the casino,
when I'm at the casino, I make a voice memo to myself. Lost $600 at craps, and then I write it down in my little ledger. So I'm sure there's some good apps out there. I just don't use them.
My dad does. My dad keeps track of his. He just writes it down on a piece of paper. His gambling ledger. I don't, because it'd drive me crazy.
Yeah, you probably slit your wrists.
Yeah, I'd probably rob a bank. I'd be that guy robbing the bank, is what I'd do.
As a follow-up to the previous question, I know you are not an accountant or an attorney, but do you know if using one of those apps is acceptable for the IRS to offset big wins? I'm asking since you said you can't use a spreadsheet. I have no idea. I would guess that it would not be good. Again, because the IRS, my understanding is they really want to see some kind of diary that you've written in.
Right.
That is really the best way to do it. So again, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just basing this on what I've heard from other podcasts and experts, accountants.
Right.
The best thing to do is keep a written diary.
Well, and for the reason is because a spreadsheet or an app is probably just numbers.
Yeah, and
in a diary, you can say, I was playing at table 3 next to a guy in a red shirt, and
I mean, you can put anything you want in a spreadsheet. You can put tons of information. I think what it comes down to is it's too easy to create a spreadsheet in a half an hour that makes it look like you kept track all year round, right? They just don't trust that,
you
right?
Can't write in a diary?
Well, I've heard stories about, we analyzed this ink and you wrote this yesterday.
Right.
So,
I'll tell you what, when I go to these malpractice classes that we're required to take, right? Yeah. They tell you that. They say, don't change your charting because we can tell if it was written the same day. Yeah. And, handwriting analysis by your mood, your writing changes a little bit every day. Yeah. So, it's probably true. I mean, they tell us that. Now, I don't know if they're telling us to scare us, just like the IRS is telling you to scare us. There's no way in hell they could ever tell.
So, again, we're not attorneys, we're not accountants, but we recommend keeping a written diary. One more tracking your gambling question. I always cash in after leaving a table. I don't take chips from one table to another. What do you do? If we're going to the same casino and we're just saying, I'm going to go play at the table right over there, then we won't cash our chips.
No, we'll color them up.
Maybe we'll color them up if we have too many.
Yeah, because you don't want to carry a bunch of chips in your hand.
Yeah.
But we'll play with chips and rebuy in with chips. But although they tell you it's better to cash out and rebuy in with cash.
Yeah.
For rating purposes.
To keep the rating. But, if we're in the single casino and, we're done playing at a table, but we intend to play immediately at some other table, maybe a different game, blackjack or roulette or anything else, we typically don't go to the cashier first.
We're usually moving tables because I'm pissed off and I grab all my chips. I'm going over there, Mark, and I just take off and go over there.
And time is money. So when we're in you're in that kind of mood, so you don't want to stop by the cashier.
All the way to the front of the casino. That's like maybe 150 steps or something.
But of course, anytime we're leaving a casino, we like to color up or cash out rather.
Yeah.
Even if we're downtown, we're Golden Nugget. It's like, let's go over to Binion's. I still would rather cash out there than keep Golden Nuggets chips in my pockets.
No, don't ever keep chips in your pocket.
Yeah, I just don't like it.
It's too easy
to forget too, and then suddenly you're on the plane ride home. And it's like, oh my gosh, I've got $200 in chips here, right? So, Okay, question 10. When betting for the dealer, what do you say? The only way I know is to throw out some chips and say two-way hard six. And how do you say that you want to control it? So let's talk about other table games just real quick. If you're making a bet for the dealer, say in blackjack, you just put a chip like in front of your bet, and that indicates it's like a bet for them.
Right.
If you're at the craps table, you can also make a pass line bet for them that just goes right next to your bet.
You can make any bet for them.
Well, what I'm saying is if you make a pass line bet, you don't really have to announce it.
Right.
If you just put it there and, it's just $1 or $2, they'll know what it is.
And sometimes they ask if they don't.
Right,
say,
right.
But
yeah, if you're throwing chips into the middle to make a hard way bet or something, you say two-way hard six. And if you want to maintain control over it,
you can say player control. You'll hear that a lot.
Right.
Or you can say piggyback.
Yeah, that's another way to say it.
Which means that they won't put their chip separately. They'll put their chip on top of your chip, which means you have control. If you want to parlay yours, you can parlay theirs too. Or you have complete control over what they do with it.
So, that's good. So two-way hard six player control or two-way hard six piggyback. Or if you intend to parlay that bet, you could just say two-way hard six parlay.
You can announce two-way hard six parlay.
And then they know that they're part of that.
Parlay it.
Yeah. So just make it clear. It's funny because we talked about this at Borgata. They won't let you do that.
Yeah.
No player control, at least when we were there. It's so strange.
It's so silly. It's just ridiculous that they would... I mean, what would be the reasoning for that?
I'm not sure. Maybe they had some issue. And, we talked about it. You always like making a two-way whirl bet, right? You give them like 25 for yourself and then 5 for them,
right?
And they wouldn't let when they won it, they had to collect. They wouldn't let you. Right. And so I was saying, well, Mike, why don't you just make a $30 whirl on your own, and then if it hits, then pretend like they parlayed it or whatever, and then make it for you. But you made a good point. If you do that, it's not clear that you're betting for them. Because most of the time that bet's going to lose, right?
Right.
And you do want to get some credit for tipping the dealers,
you want them
right?
to know that you're tipping them because But I was thinking about that just as you're saying that. I wonder if it's the casino, or do you think like the dealers got together and say, "Hey, let's just collect every bet we win."
I doubt
and
it.
Not take because some. You'll ask dealers, and someone will say, "Hey, parlay every time."
Yeah, right.
And then there's other ones that say, "Well, let's just collect."
Well,
it depends on your personality.
Here's the thing, right? We've talked about it. Dealers are gamblers,
right?
And
most of them want to parlay.
Course, it would always be better for the dealers if instead of making any bet on the table, you just tossed them a chip and said, here's a tip.
Right.
Right.
Sure.
They're going to make way more money in the long run if you just tip them rather than making a bet for them.
Right.
But of course, they like you to make a bet. They want to be part of the game.
You're right. They feel they want some fun in it too.
So I doubt that it was the dealers getting together and deciding that.
You think as a casino said, "Oh, we don't want the dealers to make a lot of money off us"?
It has to be. And how could the dealers have control over what goes on at the table?
I think the casino would want them to parlay because in the long run, it's not going to hit, and they're going to win more money.
That's right. We never got an answer from him, so I have no idea why that's the case.
That's just the stupidest policy ever.
All right, one final question. Betting the hard ways. Dr. Mike is having a bad influence on me, and I'm thinking about betting the hard ways next time I play. I have always been very conservative and disciplined in my play and very rarely bet the hard ways. Anyway, I'm working on a strategy to progress my bets. $2, $10, $50, $200. How would I hedge the bets when the amounts get up to $50 and $200? Does Dr. Mike do that? I thought I heard you reference some sort of hop bet hedge once. But isn't that a one-roll bet, which seems like it would get expensive? So let me give my quick answer here, and then you can answer, Mike.
Okay.
Robert, no, you should not be betting the hard ways. They're terrible bets. And you absolutely should not be hedging those terrible bets with even worse bets like hop bets. Stay away. Take it away, Dr. Mike.
See, you're like the little devil on Robert's shoulder, right? I'm the angel. Look, it's okay.
I'm the angel. All right, you're the devil. You got that wrong. Devil. No, I don't think so.
It's okay, Robert, as long as your bankroll could sustain it and you're willing to take that risk. Go ahead and make your hard ways. I suggest start small. You can make $1 hard way bet, right? And you don't even have to parlay it, let's say the 6 hits. You don't have to go to 10, go to 5, right? Collect, $5. That's probably a smarter thing to do if you're going to make the bet anyway. Would you agree with that, Mark?
Smarter to only take it to 5 instead of to 10?
Well, I mean...
Yes, putting less money on the hard ways, I will agree that's
less money
smarter.
And not... Yeah, then if you're going to do it anyway.
Right.
Now, I prefer to make my hard way bets and then parlay them. Now, the way I hedge them, if you want to call it that, is I usually, so if my hard six gets to $100, I usually have a $150 place bet on the six.
Right.
Right. Now, if for some reason I don't, when I was doing come bets, and I don't have, like, say, a 10, and I've parlayed my $5 hard 10 into $40, I'll bet an easy 10.
Which is a hot bet, a one-roll bet.
Which is a one-roll bet for $5. It's not a smart thing to do.
It's terrible.
I'm not telling you it's good. But if you're ahead or, your bankroll could sustain it, I do that. And then if easy 10 comes up, I make $35.
Yeah, and then you're able to replace it.
I'm able to replace my hard way.
Right.
Now, I'd probably be smarter to just place the 10 for like $50 and hope that a 10
or buy
does
the
come
10,
up.
yeah.
Or buy the 10.
That would definitely be smarter, yeah.
Yeah. But with me, sometimes I'm thinking, oh, God, I'll put 50 out there. It'll 7 out. I'll just put 5. I'm not saying it's smart. I'm not saying you should do it. I'm just saying that's what I do.
Yeah. All kidding aside, Robert, if you're having fun, bet however you like, right? I'm just warning you that these have pretty high house edges, and eventually it's going to eat up your bankroll.
Yeah, if you want to experiment a little with a thing, and maybe you'll get lucky. You hit a few hard ways.
That's right.
I mean, there have been plenty of nights where they have saved my butt, right?
Yeah,
that hard six
happen.
hits, for $100 2 or 3 times in a row.
Yep, I've seen it happen. All right, thanks for all the questions, Robert. Hey, let's move on to our voicemail hotline. Remember, call our hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
And maybe we'll play your clip on the show. First up, it's Daniel.
Hey guys, my name is Daniel from Louisville, Kentucky. I love the podcast. I just found it about 2 weeks ago and have just been listening through all the episodes. And I just wanted to call and kind of tell you my story real quick and then ask a question. So I went to Vegas for the first time last October and didn't know anything about craps. Played craps for the first time, bought in for I think $200 and won like $400 and was super pumped about it. And then I lost it all over the next 2 days just because I didn't know what I was doing. But I came back, and since I live in Louisville, Kentucky, I live close to Horseshoe, Southern Indiana. And I think I had some Christmas money or something like that I got from a relative. It was like $75, and I just decided to go up there and try it out at $75. Ended up winning like $900 that first time I went. And after that happened, I started really reading about it and looking into different strategies and trying to learn the game so I could be a smart player. And I started going back about once a week, and to this day, I have not lost that original winnings that I won that first time off the $75. I've gone back and won some and lost some since it's a total rewards casino, and so I've reached the diamond status and have been enjoying those perks. And I can't say enough good things about Horseshoe, Southern Indiana. The dealers are great. The pit crew is great. I mean, I don't think I've ever been turned down for a comp that I've asked for. They're just super accommodating, and it's a fun place to play. I went to Vegas again in May, played at the Cromwell, loved it. Same thing, can't say enough good things about it, and it ended up hitting a 5-point fire bet there, and so, was up for the week that I was there. I'm actually going to be back in October. I'm going to be there for a couple of days of Vince, and would love to play with you guys. But it's just been an incredible winning streak, and it's been a lot of fun. But I wanted to ask, what strategies do you guys employ when you want to, on the beginning of a roll, you want to limit your exposure, but also be able to take advantage of a long roll to be able to win big on that. So that's kind of where I'm trying to figure out is I don't want to put a ton of money out in the beginning and then risk a 7 out really early, but also still be around and be pressing my bets in a way that allows me to really rake it in if someone ends up being a long shooter. I've had some good luck and some bad luck with that, but overall, in the last 8 months or so, I'm definitely up and made that initial $75 investment, and this ended up working out really well. But just curious what you guys think, and hopefully look forward to playing with you guys in Vegas in October. All right, love the podcast. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Daniel. Yeah, hopefully we'll be able to play with you in VIMP.
Yeah, most definitely.
You had a pretty good experience at Horseshoe Southern Indiana,
I loved
right?
Horseshoe Southern Indiana. I loved it because 3 days and I didn't lose.
That's right. Yeah, it was good.
I mean, it was every session was a winning session.
Yeah.
But it's a great casino.
Yeah.
The dealers were so friendly,
Good.
so nice.
Yeah.
Everybody, I didn't run into one negative thing I could really say about that place.
Nice,
I mean,
nice.
it was very good.
Yeah.
As far as conservative play,
well,
yeah.
That's a hard balance because, again, you never know when that hot quote unquote roll is coming.
Right.
That is a hard question to answer. I'm thinking maybe do something like this, like start with pass line and maybe a couple of come bets, and after some have repeated, then maybe, like we talked about before, stop making the come bets and switch over to place bets, and maybe you can jump on it.
If you're talking about converting, I mean, I think come bets are conservative because if it's an immediate 7 out, you're only losing your odds.
Right, because your come bet wins, your pass line bet loses. They cancel each other out. Your odds lose. Yeah.
If it's a pass line point and then you go up to one number and then it's a 7 out, you're going to lose some money. Yeah. But are you going to lose more than if you covered the board and you went across? Yeah. It depends on how much you're putting across and how big your come bet is. But how about this? How about make a pass line, take odds, whatever, single, double, 5 times, whatever you're comfortable with. Make a come bet, go up to a number, make another come bet, go up to that number. Mm-hmm. When one of those hits, don't make another come bet. Let's say your point was 5 and you had a 6 and an 8 and the 8 hit. Bring that all down and then place the 8 and the 9. So you've got the inside numbers for a small amount.
Yeah.
For a smaller amount than your come bet.
That's not bad. What I usually do is I wait until the shooter's been rolling for a little while and I've gotten all my money back I've invested and maybe doubled. And then maybe I'll start to get more aggressive.
Convert into come bets.
Place bets. I stay conservative longer than I think maybe Daniel would prefer because he wants to jump on it as early as possible.
But if you have 2 come bets up there in a pass line bet, and one of those come bets comes down, instead of replacing another come bet, why not just make 2 small place bets?
2 small place bets,
yeah. 2 small place bets, way smaller than your come bet was.
Your come with odds. Yeah, smaller than what your come bet with odds would be.
Let's say your come bet was 5 and you took 25 odds. So you got $30 out there.
Right.
And it's a $5 table. Well, now just make a $6 and a $5. And then if they hit
$6 on the 8, $5 on the 9, that's a good idea.
And then if they hit, you can press them or you can collect them once. Yeah. If your other come bet comes down, then great. Then just go 22 inside or whatever.
And then you can start being aggressive. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, and then be aggressive. Then you probably won money for the roll.
That's not a bad idea. That's good. I approve.
Okay, very good. A first.
Yeah. All right, we got an audio message from Yahui.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Yahui calling from Vancouver, BC, Canada. Went to Vegas last weekend, July 29 to August 1st. Lost quite a bit, so I thought I'd call in for a quick report to gain some good karma for my next trip. Cheer me up a little bit. I flew in from Seattle because the flight tickets is about half price if I fly from Vancouver. Delta Airline, no drama. That's good. Second thing, I rent a car from Silver Car. They only offer silver Audi A4s. There's a coupon code is Lounge Buddy, all one word. It's 1 free day on more than 2-day rentals. Car is nice, but not as sporty as a BMW 320A or similar. Think it is as a upscale Camry, maybe. But this the coupon code I think is worth the upgrade. Because we got 3 of us, nicer car, we drove quite a bit. Third thing, we stay at M Resort, way off strip. Even the address says Las Vegas Boulevard. We went there before. We knew it. That's the way it is. That's why we rent the car. Hotel is nice. Dealer and people are friendly. No hassles compared to the strip property. No light up, nowhere. And fourth thing. I had a quick question here. This is my 3rd time in Vegas. Did not gamble much the first 2 times. I gambled more than 20 hours on this trip, including casino hopping in downtown for 1 day. First time getting comp vouchers. I don't know if this is fair or just normal. Between my friend and I played $25 or $50 a hand blackjack for about 3 hours. The rest is just $5 blackjack, $10 blackjack, $5 UTH. Ultimate Texas Hold'em. He played $10, $15 a hand UTH with a $5 trip bet. We got about $150 comp balance total between the 2 of us, including credit vouchers. I don't know if this is good or this is just normal. On our second day, we drove to downtown, parked at California Hotel and Casino. Did not get charged for parking, which should be $3. But if you tell the gate you are going to play or dine in the hotel, they probably won't charge you either. We did $5 blackjack challenge while hopping most of the casino on Fremont. All the dealers are nice. There's no exceptions. Overall, great trip, but could be better with a roll of flush on the UTH table. That will save all my losses. The next trip will always be the better one, of course, and I would not recommend Am Resort if you're looking for buzz and strip scenes and stuff. I probably will not stay here again. Next time I probably stay on the strip again. And great work. Love you guys' show and stories and stuff, even though I don't play craps. That just say how good you guys are. I will call in again for the restaurants. It's getting a little longer here. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, yeah, we'll hear from you, Hui, again about some restaurant reviews. They got $150 in comps. I'd say that's outstanding for how they played.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah. When he said it, I'm thinking, well, that's pretty good.
Yeah. So I would say, Hui, don't expect that all the time. I think you got a pretty good deal there. Yeah,
I do too. I mean, that's $150 goes quite a ways.
I know. Yeah, that for the amount that they played. I think so. Yeah. All right, next call.
Hey guys, I just sitting here and I had an idea come to me. I don't know if I heard this maybe on y'all's show or another show, but what do y'all think about a craps table in Vegas has a camera, on the table, top view, maybe a few views, and the game goes on, and you can actually bet on that online. How cool would that be if you could bet on a live dice table, Vegas or whoever would take it home? Imagine that'd be cool if you could actually just watch a live game and be able to make some wagers on it sitting at your own house. Another thing I was thinking about is I was wondering why, maybe some casinos could put, it wouldn't be for me, but, some people who wouldn't like to deal with people a lot, but maybe have some kind of slot machines in the room, or maybe like some kind of iPad, almost the same setup that you would have for some online betting, but you could bet it on your iPad through the room. Maybe, I don't know, they figure out the perks. I don't know. There's always money to be made. I guess I'm just ready to give them the money, I guess. Get back to me out there.
There are some online gambling sites where they do use real games, real dealers. Like you can play blackjack against a real dealer with a real deck of cards. In fact, even Fantan, that game, that Chinese game that we talked about, you can play online, right, where it's a real dealer there, with all the buttons out there.
Now, how do you fund this?
How do you fund it?
Yeah. I mean, if you're playing online.
Yeah.
I mean, do you have to have an account set up with money
it's just like Poker Stars, and when we used to play poker, it's the same way.
These are offshore.
Yeah, for the most part, it's offshore places. Yeah,
so you'd have to.
There's some places you can do it in the United States, but is it completely legal? Probably not. So yeah, but.
Craps online would be dangerous for me. I'd have to take the rubber mallet out of the bedroom because I think my wife would probably hit me in the head with it.
I don't see it ever happening with a live craps game. I just think the logistics behind it, seeing the dice and who's throwing the dice. Are players throwing the dice? Is the casino, is a dealer throwing the dice? I don't see it happen as much. But, who knows? Like I said, there are other games where they do use live dealers.
Yeah, it's funny. Maybe it's my pessimistic side. But how do you know that they don't adjust the roll after you've made some bet?
It's like any kind of electronic online gambling, right?
It's always without regulation, it seemed pretty scary to me.
And then as far as like gambling in your hotel room and using some kind of iPad or something, they actually have, we talked about a long time ago on the show, there was some casinos that had slot machines on the TVs.
Right.
And you could add money to an account and then just play in your room. I think those are actually behind the times. I think they came a little too late because everybody's got, a computer. Everybody's got a phone on them.
Right.
And I think that what you're talking about is coming pretty soon, where you're just going to be able to take your smartphone, go up to your room, you've downloaded an app for the casino, and now you're able to play their games because you're on their proproperty, right? You use their
But you probably only be able to do that on their property.
Right, but yeah.
You wouldn't be laying in your Caesars suite and playing a Golden Nugget game.
Right, but you never know now because now in Nevada, you can download an app for sports betting where as long as you're in Nevada, you can make sports bets, through your phone.
Gosh.
Yeah. So all this stuff is coming pretty quickly. So, I have a feeling in a few years here, it's going to be pretty easy to just play these games on your phone on a casino property. You're at the table. They don't have Keno, so, I'm just going to keep playing slots. I'm going to keep playing the slot I was playing.
I'm surprised that one of the border casinos don't really build on this sports wagering thing, because you could go, let's say you live in LA, you don't want to drive all the way to Vegas. You could save your 40 minutes drive to the border, pull out your phone, make your sports wagers on NFL Sunday.
Yeah.
And then drive home. These casinos should market that and get you to stay there.
Well, I don't think that has anything to do with your phone.
You can get a better line. Maybe you get a better line from the Nugget than you.
No, I don't know. How does having a smartphone matter with that? If you're driving in from LA, you get to Prim. There are casinos right there where you can just make a sports wager.
I know,
it's not like you have to.
Maybe you don't get the line you want there. Right.
Oh, well, that's a whole other thing, right?
Yeah, because the line there is probably not as good as bet as you could get somewhere else.
Well, then you bet the other side, right? I don't know. When you talk about lines changing in sports wagering, you have to be careful of advantage players. If I was one of those border towns, and I'm moving a line to try to get people in there, I'd be afraid I'd get descended on by advantage players, and then I'm losing money.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Let's move on to our next call. So on the last episode, we talked about how at Harrah's Southern California, we are no longer going to be able to take our free play in slot play, machine play. We always played video poker.
You got to get chips
and
now.
It's true. We went there, and sure enough, we had to take it in table game chips, which we hate because now our EV is like cut in half. Anyway, we have a couple of calls related to that.
Hey guys, just listened to your podcast where you talked about Harrah's making you take your table game promo chips instead of your slot play. One thing you can do on that is you want to play super high odds bets because then you get more back. So as an example, say you had $380 of table chips, take $10, put that on each roulette number, you're guaranteed to get $350 back from that. So much higher than 50%. I know you said you had a thought in mind on how to do that, and maybe that's it. You could also do that on craps on a little bit on the hard ways, or maybe the hot bets. Obviously, you don't guarantee yourself results, but your overall expected value is that much better than 50%. So if they allow you to do it on things that aren't even money bets, that's the way you want to go. Talk to you later.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you got the right idea there.
Yeah, but I didn't.
Well, his specific example, they will not let you do. They will not let you bet on every number on the roulette wheel. They won't let you bet on any opposing bets. You couldn't bet on just red and black at the same time, or pass and don't pass.
Yeah, because you can take half your money,
they won't let you do
red
it.
and black, and hope 0 and 00 don't come out.
Also, at the craps table, at least, they won't let you make it on any prop bets.
Right.
They have a new sign there. You can't make prop bets off. But you got the right idea. Yeah, you're. I'm not going to give away anything, but you got the right idea.
Yeah, you're going to give away his loophole. All right. So my wife, who only gets $5 free play each week.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Right. When we were there the other night, she was with me. She got her $5, and it was a chip.
Just a single $5 chip.
$5 chip. Usually she would get slot, and she'd add it to mine, and we'd play, a video poker.
Yeah.
Well, she got one chip, and I said, well, what are we going to do? Well, that big wheel is right next to the cage there.
Okay, yeah.
So she just went over, and she put it on the 40-1.
Oh, okay, they let you do that.
They let you do that.
Okay, yeah.
We missed it by 2. It was only 2 slots away, and like a 5-1 one.
Okay.
And I was thinking, maybe put it on a 5 or 10-1 just to see, right?
It's not bad.
But it's a gamble.
Yeah.
I mean, she could have easily put it on a 1-1 and got her $5, right?
Yeah,
because that's more likely to come up. There's more of them there. But she thought, I'll just try see if I can get $200 for this $5. But anyway.
All right, another call related to that.
Hey guys, it's Mike in Los Angeles. Just wanted to comment on the Harrah's Rincon free play. I've actually taken the chips before instead of the slot play, and I tried using them on the hard ways, and they would only pay me even money. And I believe I tried using them in the field, and they would not pay double or triple on the 12 or 2, I believe. So might not be able to use that on the hard ways. Really disappointing to hear that, though, because I would always get the slot play, and there was a couple slots I liked over by the Mega Bucks, and I always felt like I would at least double my money, and then I could take the $300 or $400 over to the craps table and use it there. Also, big congratulations on the 14-8s. A couple years ago, I was in Tahoe and I hit 12 10s, And nice. I think I was up to $1,200 on the 10 by the time we were 7ing out on that. But that is why we do what we do, for those opportunities.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
See,
that's right.
my kind of guy.
Yeah.
I like his name, too.
Yeah. Mike, yeah. When we hit all those 4s, I think it was 9. So he hit 12 10s. That's impressive.
Yeah, that's very impressive.
That's really amazing.
We would have got to the house max and cashed in a few times.
Yeah, that would have been nice. But at least as of now, there are actually signs on the table at the craps table here says you cannot use the promotional chips on any of the prop bets in the middle. So that includes the hard way. So that's not even an issue anymore. Mike, I was thinking about this too. Since we're not getting free play in slots anymore, again, we always used to do video poker. We've been talking about how we've never hit a royal flush. Who knows when it's going to happen? Now we're going to play significantly less video poker.
Less. Every once in a while, I do get some free play in machine play.
You can use it. Yeah.
They have some promo things.
Yeah.
They give you machine play, because they don't want to hassle with printing stuff out.
Right.
So I'll play a little bit here and there. But what are the chances we're going to hit it?
Because we used to do it every week.
Yeah.
And
now Saturday night, my wife, we were playing our free play that we had a little bit on the machine.
Yeah.
And within a span of 4 hands, she was dealt 4 to a royal.
4 to a royal?
4 cards to a royal within 4 hands. The first one with diamonds. She needed the jack of diamonds. She got like the jack of hearts. So she made
at least you made it straight.
And the other one, I can't remember what heart it was, but she got another heart. And she got a flush. Yeah. So.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
They were both winners, but we were sitting there. Okay, come on.
Yeah.
It could have been $8,000.
Yeah. Anyway, Vegas fanboy, I know we've got a competition going with him. I think he's going to hit the royal first now because we're not playing anymore.
I think so.
All right, next call.
I hope he does.
Oh, well, yeah, I do too.
Yeah, I hope one of the 3 of us hits it.
All right, next call.
Hello, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is John, a recreational gambler from Massachusetts. My group and I also do our version of a blackjack challenge where we put down $100 and we walk away if we get down to 50 or up to 150. Although we do not call it Walter's Hole, believe it or not. We call it a collection run. It's usually after a night of bad beats. The idea is let's go make a collection run. This guy owes us, that guy owes us. Let's get our money back.
It sounds proper, but
You just
Walter's Hole sounds so much more fun.
Yeah, Walter's Hole. It doesn't sound like any technique. It sounds like a hole.
It sounds like
it's the stupidest name, and yet people are grabbing onto it.
Stupid things are what we do.
Well, you got that right.
Rally the troops, have a little fun. I also like to mention in episode 103, some cat from Arizona called about hedging the fire bet. I would think if you're 5 points in on the fire bet, you have got a fistful of money, and it is no time to start hedging. Hedging is not the same as gambling. You're there to gamble, not to hedge. That's just my take on that.
Amen, brother. Amen.
Well, what are you talking? You were talking about how you hedge your hard ways. That's exactly what you do.
Yeah, but I'm not way ahead. He's saying you've already made 5 numbers. You're going to get a boatload of money. Why not just go for it?
My feeling is that if you're ever going to hedge, it's on those once in a lifetime things, like almost, winning a fire bet.
Yeah,
that would be the time to hedge, not just on hard ways.
Yeah. See, now he's saying, well, you've already won so much money, just go for it and hope that it hits. Right.
Well, I've never hedged. Too. I've never hedged on the fire. So.
Oh, well, yeah, no, you haven't. But I saw a guy, honest to God, Saturday night. You were not with me. He hedged after 4 numbers had hit.
Oh, he hedged the 5th. Really?
When the 5th was made, he hedged the 5th.
Yeah.
It didn't work out for him because we hit the 5th number. Because he hit the 5th,
yeah.
Yeah, so, he lost his lay bet.
Yeah, I think that's too early.
That's way too early. He laid like $300 on a 9.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
And the last thing, I was wondering if you guys have any advice for gambling on a cruise. I'm going on a cruise this Saturday, and a lot of the table or the house edges are even stronger. There's 2 times odds on craps. I was wondering if that would change your strategy at all. Maybe just placing numbers, or, of course, Dr. Mike, you would parlay a little more. Just wondering if you had any advice on that. Thanks for the show, guys. Really doing a great job. Bye.
if you're talking specifically about just the craps table on a cruise and it's only double odds, well, it's still a good bet.
Right.
It's still no house edge.
Still true odds.
So at least I don't think I would change the way I play. I mean, maybe if I'm used to playing high amounts, maybe I'll put a little bit more on the pass line so I can put more for odds.
Yeah, or you might just make a pass line with odds, and then instead of come bets, you just place them because you can go up faster.
No, I don't. I'd stay the same. I wouldn't. I mean, maybe you would, but no, I wouldn't say, oh, there's only double odds. Well, I'll go ahead and make place bets.
Right.
No, I don't. I
Press
don't.
them
I don't like
faster.
that. No, I don't like that logic. I'd still stick with come bets. Yeah.
I've only played craps once on a cruise, and it was okay.
Yeah.
I can't say I was all that thrilled with it. First of all, there weren't very many people playing.
Yeah.
And usually we kind of like that in a casino, but it got kind of boring towards the end of the night. It's me and one other guy, taking turns rolling.
Yeah.
And the table was small. And, the ship, it was kind of rough that night, too. So that had a little bit to do with it.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I'd go slow.
Okay. Go slow. Because you're stuck there. It's not like you can go to another casino.
Right. You're stuck there. And if you're putting it on a credit or something, you got to be careful with that.
Yeah.
So save some money for the booze bill you're going to have at the end.
Yeah. That's what I understand. I've never been. I can't see myself going on a cruise anytime soon. But,
just do one just to...
Maybe.
I don't know. Just you and your wife.
Yeah.
Wait till the boys are grown up and gone, and then just you and your wife do a small one. You know what a lot of people do now, just we're off topic here, but real quick. They have these like 3-day cruises out of San Diego down to Mexico.
Yeah.
And that is really a great thing to do.
Just a quick one.
A quick one. You'll see if you like it.
Yeah.
And it's, what's the worst? You're a couple of days, you're gone. So
yeah. I think the worst is you come down with explosive diarrhea, which I understand is not that uncommon on a cruise. So that might be something.
What's bad about that?
All right. Let's hear from Carter.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. How you guys doing? This is Carter from Portland, Oregon calling in. Just wanted to make a quick little trip report. Pretty late, actually. I went to Vegas on the 4th of July weekend with my girlfriend. Haven't gotten around to calling in until now. I actually had an offer for 2 free nights at the Cosmo Sunday through Thursday because I'd signed up for a player's card last time I was there. And so I took advantage of that because the 4th was on a Monday. We went for Sunday night, Monday night, came back on Tuesday. So that was cool. I took advantage of that offer and got it upgraded to a 1-bedroom terrace suite, which was very awesome with a view of the Bellagio fountains. Fantastic. Cosmo, probably still my favorite. Fantastic hotel, great rooms, great service, great casino. Love the craps hits there. The limits are a little higher than I'd like. Basically there it never goes below 15. Maybe you'll see 10. But usually it's 15 and 25. Played there, decent amount. The crews are great. The action, the atmosphere is a lot of fun. Drink service is really good. Played at Cromwell. They had the 100 times odds, which I thought was cool. Of course, the crews were great. The atmosphere was great. The craps tables were packed a lot, but didn't win, unfortunately. But had a really good time. Went down to Wynn to eat at Wing Lei, their Michelin-starred Chinese restaurant, for dinner one night. It was absolutely fantastic. And then we walked over to SLS. I don't know why. That was a mistake. Wasn't that great of a place. We wanted to check out this bizarre meat bar and have a drink there. It was okay. The casino I didn't care for very much, though. We were there, so we played at a $10 table. And I actually hit a $10 hard six, which I parlayed to a $100 hard six. And then hit again on $900.
Sweet.
And cashed out. Was pretty happy for that. Thank you, Dr. Mike, for always parlaying those hard ways. I learned from you. And the best session I had was at Aria. You went over there. We had dinner at Carbone, which might be my new favorite place in Vegas to have dinner. It was so fantastic. The service was good. The food was great. We went down to the casino, and it was totally packed. Wanted to play craps. They had two $10 tables, which were so full you couldn't get on. And a few $25 tables, which is a little higher than I'd like to play, but I thought, I'm on vacation, might as well. Bought in for $1,000 and started doing pass line with full odds and come bets. And I just got really lucky. The very first shooter went on a really long roll, maybe 20, 30 minutes before he 7'd out. And I was winning, but I wasn't having a great time because the dealers were so, at Aria, which I usually have such a great time at, the dealers were mopey and slow and not engaging and talking to each other and ignoring everybody else and not being friendly, which I was really annoyed at because here I am playing super high limit for me and trying to enjoy myself, and thought they were kind of ruining it for me. I even was tipping the dealers, and they were taking the money and not even saying thanks for the bet or anything. And I was just like, okay, well.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
Really, no, you can play craps anywhere. Yes, some places have better rules than others, but what it comes down to is a hot roll can happen anywhere.
Right.
There's no better or worse place to play craps as far as, are you going to win or are you going to lose?
Right.
So why not go someplace where you're enjoying yourself because the crew is great?
Right.
And, that's...
How many times have we lost at a table? And I mean... lost some money, some substantial money, but had a good time because the crew was nice and engaging. And we've even said to some, we hate to leave. We're just doing so bad. It's so cold. But, we found a crew we like. And,
Yeah, we've said this before, Mike. For us, the most important thing about a craps table is the crew.
Right.
Yeah, we care about rules and how much we can take in odds and everything. But the most important thing is how good is the crew.
Yeah, if they're moody and they're not even saying thank you when you tip them.
And they're kind of talking amongst themselves and ignoring you. Yeah, it's terrible.
See, now, I'd have no problem just saying something to them.
Yeah.
I would not. It would not go over well with me. I would say something.
Yeah.
Even though I'm winning, I'm not having fun. So after the first shooter crapped out, I just colored up and we're like, let's go.
Good.
And on that one shooter, I bought in for $1,000 and cashed out for $2,250. So I won $1,250 on his one roll. So I was pretty happy about that. Paid for my dinner at Carbone, and we had a little walking around money. We also played at O'Shea's at the Link because, I'm 29, or I'm 30, my girlfriend's 29, we're a little younger, and the crowd there is young, and it's kind of loud and boisterous and fun, and great young crews who are a lot of fun to play with. And we played there. Even though it's such a small little casino, they only have one craps table. It's a really fun place to play if you're kind of into that more rowdy. It's kind of like playing downtown without having to go downtown. And I did have a question for you guys. Here in Portland, there's a local horse racing track, Portland Meadows. I've never been to a horse race before, and they're having their horse races start back up in September. And I just want to know if you guys had any tips for horse racing betting, how you guys do. I know most yellow or most individual letters in a name is Dr. Mike's strategy, but pretty good tips. But I was wondering if you had anything beyond that for the novice horse bettor. And I just thought I'd ask. Thank you guys for the show. Love it. You guys are doing a great job.
In all seriousness now, I really don't have any advice to offer somebody going to the track.
I do.
What's that?
Familiarize yourself with a race form.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
sure.
That's probably the first thing you should do.
So that you can read the race form. You know what all the symbols are.
You know what all the symbols are. You know what everything is. Familiarize yourself with the bets, right? So you know. And then, if you want to get more involved, I mean, you and I both have done this. We know how to read a racing guide, and we can read, past performances.
Yeah,
by
I guess it depends on, is it something you're going to continue to do? Are you going to continue to go to the track? Then you can,
how much
learn
time
about
do you want to invest?
How much time do you want? Are you just going for the day and you just want to have fun? Well, whatever. But yeah, you make some good points. Yeah.
If you're going to go for the day and you just want to have fun, then do what you can bet the yellow horse every time. It really wouldn't matter, right? But no, if you're going to go back and everything, there are a lot of things, and we both know how to do this.
Yeah.
I mean, we can read a racing form and we can tell you what the past performances are, and we can make a pretty good educated guess on how this horse is going to do.
Yeah.
We joke around like we don't know anything about it, but we do know enough that we can.
Right, if we were at the track, right.
And if we were going to seriously go, like me, it's like once a year.
Yeah, right.
So it's like, why invest any time in that, right? But if I was going to go like a weekly basis or something, I'd
put some serious effort into it. Yeah. Anyway, Carter, if you go, good luck.
Yeah, I hope you win. Thanks for listening.
All right, one more. Let's hear from Yahui, his restaurant reviews.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. Again, this is Yahui calling from Vancouver. Just have some restaurant reviews for you guys. We did eat at Red Rock Casino, the Feast Breakfast Buffet. Cheap but limited selections. We won't go there again, I think. And we also ate at La Thai downtown. We had yellow tofu curry, pad thai with beef, and there's an off-menu item called soft crab fried rice. The yellow tofu curry was outstanding overall, great food, friendly staff members, and because of the heat, there's no inside seating. We sat on the patio. Staff put on shade for the whole patio, which is nice. $60 for the three of us. Only downside is probably the food came out a little slow. Second breakfast, we wanted to do egg slut, but turned down by the long lineup. Then we went to downtown since we were hopping that day on downtown anyway. Ate at Dupar. Food is great. Service is not very friendly, but maybe just because that one server had a bad day or something. The pancake is great. Second dinner, my girlfriend went to Cosmo Buffet. I personally hate the feeling of ate myself to death, so I decided to go to eat the secret pizza. I ordered one slice of white pizza, really, really good. My friend had pizza with sausage, which is also good. I think they raised the price since open because Yelp have a different photo for a cheaper menu. I definitely will go again next time. After dinner, we passed by Egg Slut, and this time there's no lineup. I did not order anything. If you want to try the Egg Slut, you probably go there before they close every day, which is around 7 to save yourself the lineups. The rest of the meals we ate at the hotel because of the comp dollar and nothing noteworthy except the deli place have great fish and chips. I know Dr. Mike always liked fish and chips. Overall, great trip, restaurant-wise. Thank you. Bye.
You and I had a bad experience at Dupar's.
Yeah, and it was the same thing. The food was okay. The service was not
to the point where we won't go back. It was just, it was a long wait and it wasn't good. Yeah, so.
I mean, it's not worth it for us.
And, people rave about Dupar's. Anybody can have a bad experience at a good restaurant. That just happened to be ours, but yeah.
And I do love fish and chips. Boy, I do love fish and chips.
Yeah, just as long as you can get your teeth through them. That's really the key, is that you want to be able to bite into it have your teeth touch.
I love fish and chips. I mean, I love fish and I love tartar sauce. I mean, come on, it's mayonnaise, right? Of course I love that.
And we keep hearing great things about Egg Slut at Cosmopolitan, but we do constantly hear that the lines are long. Mike, I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's basically kind of a counter place where you can get like egg sandwiches and that kind of thing. But that's great advice if there's no line, or at least a small line close to closing, which would be maybe 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night. That's good advice.
That's,
maybe we'll try that.
An early dinner.
Yeah.
Well, I got to say, Mark, that these phone calls were excellent.
Yes.
I appreciate everyone
I think so
who
too,
called.
yeah.
The questions were great, and the phone calls were excellent.
Yep.
I like to hear about these trips.
I know. Me too. And
because it passes my week till we get to go to Harris.
I know, and you're gonna miss it this week, aren't you? You're going on a little family vacation, so you're gonna miss it. Yeah. So it's gonna be rough for you. Of course, looking forward to VIMP in October. Can't wait. So, all right, that's gonna do it for this episode. We want to thank some people for some PayPal donations. First of all, David, thank you very much for the donation. Also, Brian, he wrote, "My wife loves your podcast. Just recently got her hooked on craps in Biloxi. Look forward to VIMP." Brian and Sarah. So thank you very much for that. Good. Yeah, we'll see you at VIMP.
Maybe she's trying to go for, best wife in the world.
It may be.
Trying to outdo our
Maybe
wives.
she's, that's right.
She likes crafts. She's on her way.
That's right.
She's
well on her way. Hey, be sure to check out our TV listings showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks. We update those listings every Wednesday using a customized program to search through all the raw American TV data. Just go to our webpage, youcanbetonthat.com, and click on the link at the top that says TV listings. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 951-2-WAGERS. Or you can email us at youcanbetonthat@gmail.com. And, also let us know how you found out about the show, because we have been getting responses from people saying, hey, I just found your show. And we'd be curious to find out, how you did. Did you just go into Google and do a search on Craps Podcast? That's what I would have done.
Yeah. I would just find it because you told me about it.
Yeah, that would be it for you. Yeah. Also, follow us on Twitter at You Can Bet On That. We tweet when we're heading to a casino, and we'd love to meet up with you. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/YouCanBetOnThat. And finally, head on over to iTunes and write a review on us. When you do, it helps us get new listeners. All right, Dr. Mike, it feels good, nice and cool here in your house.
Very, very cool.
Take us home, even though you're already home.
Well, I want to just reiterate, you were talking about us losing, having losses. And, a couple weeks ago, we had a bad night.
Yeah, it was rough.
But this last week, we had a good week.
You did, because you went the second night.
Right.
I was there Friday and I lost.
Yeah, but it wasn't terrible.
No, it wasn't. Oh, no, it wasn't nearly as bad.
Friday
No,
night wasn't bad at all.
No.
And Saturday was real good for me.
Yeah.
But you got to deal with that when you
have chosen this life.
Yes, it's
losing and sometimes big losses. It's just
and
a part
winning
of it.
and sometimes big wins are a part of it.
That's also
and
part of it.
sometimes dealing with the big wins is harder than the big losses.
Because you don't know what you're going to do with the money?
Yeah, you don't know what you're going to do. You're
going to buy
torn.
a TV,
You're going to buy a new air
or...
conditioner for your house, or you're going to stash that away so you can go to Vegas in October.
Yeah, that's rough. Yeah, I've made my decision.
Yeah, I know what your decision is. But anyway, I'm glad that, we made that clear, because recently somebody said to me, like, oh, yeah, I'm sure you always win. And I'm like, no, I don't. And I don't want people to think that because we do this and we talk about it like, oh, those guys always win, or we have some foolproof system, or anyone who tells you that's full of what.
Yeah, right. Or if it's true that they shouldn't be telling you, right? They've got some secret they should hold on to, right? Yeah,
they've got some advantage play that they're, taking advantage of.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
Anyway, we're looking forward to Vim.
Yeah, looking
and
forward.
Hopefully, we'll win there.
Yeah, I
and
hope
everyone
so.
will say, "Oh, those guys are great."
I just hope that you are ahead when we do our show, because that's going to be the problem. Is you're going to be down a ton of money and you're just going to sit there and not say a word, kind of like you did last time because your voice was gone.
Yeah, my voice was gone from screaming because I was winning. So I can't win a lot because I'll lose my voice, and I can't lose because I won't be happy.
Yeah, maybe
so
you should. Maybe you should just show up on Sunday.
Yeah, so before we even, I'll go Sunday to Wednesday.
All right, thanks for listening.
Good night.